I'm setting my own clock.
Communist Party of China.
Red flags are everywhere.
You will be held accountable.
We're not Chinese owned.
They are not going to stop. They're not going to stop.
This is not a done deal.
If the door is that way.
Thank the board for bringing us together.
And now the act you've all been waiting for.
Professional picketers.
And if you don't like it, there's the door.
Hello and welcome to The Long Report. I'm Chris Long, the host, and I'm doing this show kind of because this is ground zero. Ground zero for how we recalled an entire township board. We're fighting a large corporation owned by China moving into the area. There's the 2024 presidential election, which this is going to be one of the hot topics of selling rural land to China and other foreign entities. Then you have the whole EV, solar, and wind thing that Whitmer wants to do. And there's a lot of other topics that I just can't talk about on the radio or get into as much depth. And then you have the internet situation here in Green Township and the commissioner elections next year and other elections that we need to cover. And so that's kind of what the long report is going to be about. And so for the first episode, I have the catalyst, Lori Brock, with us, because if it wasn't for her, this whole thing, we wouldn't really know about it. And so, Lori, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? I know a lot of people know you as the No Gotion lady. You're all over the news and the radio, and you've been everywhere. Some people know you as the leader of the Pretty Pony Gang. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where are you? Did you grow up here?
I did not. First off, I wanted to tell you thank you for having me on. I feel honored to be your first guest. Yes. It's an honor for me, and telling the story is kind of a bittersweet thing.
I just think no better guest than to have the catalyst on.
Well, thank you. I grew up in Cass City, Michigan, which is in the Thumb area.
Oh, I'm from Lapeer. That's I don't know, maybe 45 minutes away.
Right. Yep. Came up here. Actually, I was going to school at U of M and didn't like it there. And it was a little bit too much city for me. I'm a country girl. And came to Big Rapids and felt like this was my home. So when I was little, probably 18 and a half years old, I moved here and started selling real estate. I did the welcome wagon, had my horse farm. And that's something that we've started way back in the day. So I've been here for quite a while.
Wow. So what year would you say that was that you moved up here?
Probably 1984, okay. 1985, somewhere in there. I've had real estate companies in Big Rapids since I was probably 25, 26 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I've had a real estate company or worked for real estate companies all that time. I did live in Leroy for a few years, but then moved back to Big Rapids and have been here ever since I started building this farm.
So with the whole Gotion thing, when did you get involved?
It was a strange event. I came home from work one day, checked my mailbox, and there was a letter from, I don't know who it was. Someone left a note that said, Lori, you better get to the township meeting tonight. It's important. And no one has ever done that. To this day, I still don't know who left me that note.
And that's interesting because I came home and I rarely ever go to my mailbox. I go to my mailbox probably once a week, maybe every 2 weeks sometimes. And so anyway, I came home. It was I don't remember what day it was. Well, it would have to have been March 15th. Yeah, it would be March 15th. It was a Tuesday. I came home and just so happened to stop at my mailbox. And inside that mailbox, and it was about 6:30 at night. I just got home. And in the mailbox was this white piece of paper. I don't even think it had like a mailing address on it. I think it was just put in my mailbox.
Yeah.
And it said, you need to go to the township hall meeting. And it talked about Gotion slightly. I think it did. I'm pretty sure it had something to do. It said Gotion on it, but it said you need to go to the township hall tonight at 7:00. And I'm like, well, it's a half hour away. I'll go let the dog out and I'll hop back in the car and head over there. And I did. And there were so many vehicles. The overflow into the stone hatchery, there was that many vehicles. I never seen that many vehicles they were lined up on the road all the way down to Mr. C's.
Yep. And I was shocked by that because normally very few people show up for these township meetings. And so we figured it had to be something big that was going on. And then once they got involved in it, I was absolutely flabbergasted. I could not believe that our township leaders would put our community at risk like they were.
Absolutely.
And with absolutely no regard to any of our feelings. And they just sat there very smugly, taking it all in like they could care less what the community thought about this big monstrosity coming to our community. They couldn't answer questions. We tried to ask questions about stuff. They're very were very evasive about the questions. I just didn't feel like when we walked away, I felt like we had been bulldozed.
Yeah.
And that none of us knew what was going on. And they were smug and they just brought this thing in and they weren't going to have any public opinion and they didn't care about public opinion. And from that moment on, I said, we have to learn a lot more about this because this is horrible.
Yeah. So everybody that was there, I would say they were all against it. There was only one individual that
Just
I
one.
can recall, but he was like, oh, well, we need to trust our leaders. I don't know anything about it, but we need to trust our leaders. And it's like, first of all, I know who those people are, and I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Okay.
My thoughts exactly.
Exactly. And a lot of people, for some reason, have trusted them for years. I don't know if it's because they grew up with them, or they've known them, or they were neighbors, or grandma and grandpa went to church with so-and-so's mother for so many years, and they think they're good people. But no, I mean, I was dealing with these people 5 years ago, and I knew there was something up then. And when I saw what was going on, I'm like, yep, this is just going to be a repeat of what I saw 5 years ago. They don't think that they have to report to anyone. Since election, we don't have to deal with them anymore, so that's good.
Thank God for that.
What do you think he's going to be doing?
I don't know. If it was me, I'd be hanging my head in shame and getting out of town. I mean, because obviously the community does not like him. I mean, he would come to the meetings wearing a vest,
Yeah.
a bulletproof vest, which I thought was ridiculous because it's like, if you're that scared to come to a meeting and you have to wear a bulletproof vest, then you're not doing something right. And one of the guys stood up and said that, and I was so proud of him.
For sure. Actually, we have another guest. Hello, Tonya.
What's up?
Hey, you're on the Long Report with Lori and I right now, live.
Hi, Tonya.
Hey, Lori, what's up, chickapoo?
Tonya, we're just talking about Chapman, and what do you think he's going to be doing now that he's not at the fire department or at the township?
Oh, Lord. Some might say that he could become a dad.
Okay, this ain't the radio, but I'm not going to have that on my show. Oh, gosh.
Honestly, he isn't going to be doing anything because in his mind, he done nothing wrong.
Right, yeah.
Right.
People that are narcissistic, control freak, they don't ever see that they've done anything wrong. It's more a pity party.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely out there trying to gain sympathy for what he's done. Just once, I wish he would take ownership for the fact that he threatened people. I mean, like Lisa Tolles telling her that he would, if she kept running her mouth about Gotion, she could disappear like Jimmy Hoffa. That's crazy. What he did to the Ehlers family. That gal came here and talked out of her heart to tell us how bad the conditions were at these, these plants.
At LG.
Yeah. And she was telling us from her heart how bad it was. And Chapman made a big point to say she was a plant and she was unbelievable. That's just so disrespectful to your constituents in your community. And the way he lied about everybody and then made fun of people and, get out, that's the door, blah, 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 He doesn't feel there's anything wrong, but there's so much wrong with that type of leadership. That's not leadership. That's bullying people.
Yes, exactly. He built his own little kingdom. He did that he was trying to do that in 2018 when he tried to change the fire department contract with Green Township from the city of Big Rapids to his fire department in Big Rapids Township, which is 2 miles to the south. And I don't understand why he was trying to do it. I can assume that what he was trying to do. So it's fine if they can support the city in situations, but they can't be the main one.
No.
So
No.
anyway, anything else, Tonya?
Yeah, he always wanted to make me look crazy, make Lori look like she's done lost her mind.
Yeah. He did that before in 2018 when I was going to the township board meetings. He tried to make me look like a fool, told everyone I was crazy and all this other. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. When he started doing it to you guys here, I was like, oh, well, same show, different day.
Right. It's just a point where he's gotten away with it for so long, as well as some of the other people there, that I think it was just common day-to-day occurrence for them just to bully people, shut them down, make them look stupid so they would stop questioning him, because he wanted a free reign over this whole township. And he didn't want anybody questioning him. And he wasn't going to answer the questions, just like the whole good old boy thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't bid out jobs and you just give it to your friends, that's just wrong. I mean, when you question him about it, he would just shut you down. Thank God we've got different people involved now. But there were so many things that, I mean, you could go on for hours and hours about the bad decisions that he made.
Well, he tried telling everyone that the lift station thing is needs to be repaired, and we don't have any money, and we need Gotion to come in because we got to buy a new sewer system. 5 years ago, I was at a meeting in 2018 where Chapman said to everybody after doing a analysis or an inspection of the sewer system that there was nothing wrong. It was in great condition, is what the report said. And how did it go from being fine 5 years ago to ultimately needing to be repaired?
You know, I don't know that I trust anything. I think the new board's going to have to go ahead and redo everything, because I don't know what you can trust and what you can't trust anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've found them lying so many times. I mean, between Chapman and Chuck Thielen, the lies are on top of the lies over and over and over. And so who knows what the truth really is, honestly.
Yeah. When, Tonya, when did you first find out about this whole Gotion thing? Because Lori and I both received a letter in the mail March 15th, a white letter. It had no address labels on it. It just said, go to the township hall on, it just so happened to be that day at 7 p.m. for the March 15th meeting. When did you find out?
March 15th.
You got the letter as well?
Yes.
So Lori and I are trying to figure out who sent that letter, because still today, we still don't know who sent that letter. No one's come forward.
And honestly, we would love to thank them, because without them putting those letters in our mailbox or whatever, we would have never known about this. They kept it so quiet, and they had all their NDAs signed, and nobody knew anything about this. But whoever it was that put it in our mailbox, you know, they need a huge thank you. And we don't know who it is, but...
Do you know who did it, Tonya?
I don't. I wish I did know. I know that same day, Lori had reached out to me, and she's like, did you get this? And I'm like, yeah, what the hell's going on? She's like, I don't know. And me and her had a great big discussion about it. You know, we were both freaked out, of course. And she's like, are you going tonight? I'm like, absolutely. And from there to this day, I have no idea who this individual is. I wish I did.
I know, me too. We owe him a lot, because honestly, you know, and we have to take responsibility for this ourselves as well, because we were very lackadaisical about going to township meetings. We didn't really go. I hadn't been to a township meeting in years, to be honest. And this goes to show you that if you're not involved, how bad things can get very, very quickly. And the corruption and everything else that can happen if the people are just running, you know, with nobody doing any checks and balances. And thank God that, it's a bad thing that this came here, but I tell you what, it brought our community together.
Oh, absolutely.
I've met so many people that I never knew, and I've been here for 40 years. And I didn't know
I've
these
been here
people.
7 years, and I've met more people in the last 6 months than 7 years. I mean, I met you, I met Tonya, I met everybody that I know now.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Lori and I, we go back over 30 years.
Yeah.
How did you two first meet?
I know Tonya from way back because when I was young, I used to ride horses, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I would race horses and take them riding and whatnot. And we'd bet money on if you could win. And Tonya had a horse that was the fastest horse that I'd ever seen, and I ended up buying it from her. And she let me have that mare, and I rode her. And she paid for a lot of my college education, I'll tell you that.
Oh, really?
I rode her all over the state. And I don't know if I was ever beat, to be honest. She was that fast.
Wow.
But yeah, that was way back in the day. And we've had horses and a love of animals that has been a long time, huh, Tonya?
Oh, yes. I mean, Lori and I remember when Lori bred Cotton, Bailey. She was my Cotton and her Bailey. And she bred that mare, and she gave birth to the most beautiful foal. And Lori always let me go over there, and I never referred to her as Bailey. I would go over there and I would just say, "Hey, Cotton," and she would come just a barreling to me. And she would just show her baby off to me and let me play with it. And so that I was always so appreciative that Lori would let me do that. I also got the pleasure of taking my mom over to see Cotton and Cotton's baby. And my mom was just in heaven to not just see a mare that I raised and broke out and everything, but the rest of Lori's horses and all her babies at that time. And yes, Lori and I had a blast. And honestly, Lori, there was no other mare or gelding or stallion that could outbeat that mare. Her dad is Cotton Bull, who was a worldwide champion on the racetrack.
We're going to have to let you go, Tonya. It sounds like you got a lot going on, so we're going to have to hang up. We'll call you back later some other time.
Poor Tonya and her dogs.
And you slammed that phone down right in my gracious ear.
Go, Tonya. Oh, my God. Your video clips or your audio clips are amazing, Chris. Their little dogs had a lot to say.
Oh, she has too much going on. Anyway, well, I think this has been a good first episode of, what's the name of the show? Oh, The Long Report. All right. Well, that's been a good first show. We'll see you in the next show. See ya.
Bye-bye.
This we call collaborating evidence.
They are not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop until they uncover every lie, every deception, every legal, every web, every immoral action. They are not going to stop. They're not going to stop.
Sir, if you are disorderly, the door is that way. I explained that last month.
There's the door. Thank the board for bringing us together.